Welcome to Jenna's Craft Cottage. Today we will be making pillowcases. These are easy to make with finished edges inside that take about 2 hours to complete. You can make them to match your quilts, fun fabrics for your kids, and even give them as gifts. So let's get started. You'll need fabric that is 27 inches wide for the body of the pillow. For the trim, this is 3 inches, but it could be 2 to 3 inches. And for the cuff, it can be 9 to 12 inches. This is 12 inches. I'm going to match up all the folded edges of all 3 pieces of the fabric on one side, and we're going to smooth this out, and I want to make sure that the selvage is cut off. So we're going to lay it down. So I've got the cuff, the trim, and the body, and they're all laid out on the same side. I'm going to take my ruler and cut off the selvage about 3/4 of an inch to an inch, just to make sure everything is clear. You're going to take the trim, you're going to iron out the crease here, and then we're going to turn it, you're going to fold it and press it. Now we're going to assemble this. This is your cuff, and we're going to lay that down. We're going to put our trim with the raw sides up, and we're going to match the edges. We're going to put the body on it so the right sides are down. Now I'm going to put a few clips in here just to hold it. Now that it's all clipped together, we're going to start at the bottom, and we're going to roll the body of the fabric all the way up and stop far enough away so that you don't catch it up at the top, and we're going to roll the cuff to the very edge, and we're going to re-clip this, catching all 4 pieces of fabric. The edges are clipped. I'm going to take it over to the sewing machine and do a 1/4 of an inch seam along those edges, making sure I don't hit the rolled up edges in the body of the pillow. You can see that I have put a seam, which is about 1/4 of an inch. Now we're going to take the tube and take all the things out of the tube. So we're going to pull it and turn it inside out. And now we've got most of our pillow completed. I'm going to press these edges down, and I'm going to show you how to make French seams with this. I have pressed the cuff so it's nice and tight here, and also on the front. Now if you find out that you have any pieces that you need to trim, this is when you want to trim them. So now we're going to make the French seams. Normally, if you were going to do something, you would put this inside out so the right sides are together, and you would sew around. You could do it that way, but this way we're going to do the right sides out. With the right sides out, I'm going to clip together the edges. I've clipped the 2 sides. You don't need to clip this side because you're not going to sew on it. It's the fold. And I tried to get it as close to the edges so that it has a perfect trim on each side. Now I'm going to take it to the sewing machine, and I'm going to do a 1/4 of an inch stitch around. You can either have used pins or clips for this project. Now that I've sewn a 1/4 of an inch along the 2 sides, I really want to trim it down even more. It's very hard to sew an 1/8 of an inch. Trim it down to an 1/8 of an inch from the seam. Because when you turn it over, we're making the French seam, so it's all going to be hidden. You want to make sure that these are all caught inside. Now that it's trimmed to 1/8 of an inch, I'm going to turn it inside out to do my French seams. Now we're going inside. You can see where the seam is. So we're going to make it as tight as we can, put pins or clips to hold it tight. Now that I have clipped these together, you can either clip them or pin them. I also used a skewer to go to the very edges of the points. I'm going to take this to the sewing machine and sew 1/4 inch all the way around. That will enclose that 1/8 of an inch that we trimmed. I've sewn around these two edges here. Now it's time to turn it inside out to get the real pillowcase. Now you have a pillowcase that has all the seams hidden inside. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe to this channel. A day without sunshine is just an extra day for crafting.